Hi friends, I'm back with another Muhammad Hassan character video, and this video has been requested by one of my listeners. So I'm gonna talk about what could have been Muhammad Hassan career had the London bombing not happened and he was not banned from SmackDown by UP, and what could have been um, he could have become if there was no controversy at that time. So yeah, basically, as a Bruce Pritchard even say that they moved him from Raw to SmackDown, which I personally don't like that move, because he should have stayed on Raw and live, because live you know everything, you're doing it live and you know what's happening on that day. So this kind of edgy and controversial character should be staying on live Raw, but they sent him to tape SmackDown, which was the ultimate demise of the character. But yeah, they switch him to SmackDown because he wrestled everyone on Raw. I mean, he wrestled everyone on Raw, all the main events, all the mid card guys, all the lower level guys, jobbers, all that. So even though draft happened, or some of the guys from SmackDown came to um, Raw, like John Cena, Big Show, and some other guys. And I could have thinking like if they had kept him on Raw, he could have been feuded with the John Cena all that summer for the WWE title, even if he doesn't win it. But it could have been a great. He's headlining with instead of Jericho, or even triple threat match instead of just John Cena versus Chris Jericho at 2005 SummerSlam. It could have been Muhammad Hassan versus John Cena and Chris Jericho for the WWE Championship. That would have been great. He could have feuded after that with a John Cena, or even had he won the championship at some point at Raw, that would have been great. But I'm just talking about what if the he didn't got banned from SmackDown, what happened? I mean, is even Marco Pani in his words that he knew, even he says it, that he was booked to feud and wrestle with the Batista at SummerSlam. He doesn't confirm he was going to win it, but I mean, all the sources and all that saying that booked he was going to win the world champion at that SummerSlam pay-per-view. I mean, I don't know. I think he was gonna win the match with the Undertaker. I have some sources confirm that Muhammad Hassan originally was going to defeat the Undertaker at the Great American Bash with the help of Randy Orton, being one of the masked man guys, and he gonna do the RKO them, and then he gonna win the match. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately. But then he was going to become the number one contender after he wins the match against the Undertaker with the help of Randy Orton. That sets up their match, Randy Orton and Undertaker, which was indeed happened at SummerSlam 2005. So it was that kind of a plan to do the screw job on the Undertaker. Muhammad Hassan, with the help of Randy Orton, wins the number becomes the number one contender, and then he's go on to feud with the Batista next SmackDown. Like SmackDown after SmackDown, he's the number one contender. I don't know JBL was gonna be a part of that, because he Batista wrestled JBL at the Great American. I don't know it was going to be triple threat match for them at the SummerSlam, or it was just planned for like Muhammad Hassan versus Batista in Washington DC. But yeah, as Marco Pani confirmed that he was going to win the world champion, and it was a story like that. After a long time, that Arab Americans gonna do the FU to US in their own national capital to the hometown boy Batista. That was the plan. He was going to win in the nation capital, Washington DC. Oh my God! Can you imagine Muhammad Hassan winning the world champion at SummerSlam 2005 in USA, nation capital Washington. That would have been a great, man. Just imagine. I cannot have any words to describe how much heat he could have got with that. I mean, I don't know how he was gonna win it, by clean or screw job or with the help of Devari, but he was going to win it. And then I think then he was going to have a long run as a world champion. I mean, just imagine he was going to have appear on SmackDown again and again with a world champion, as a world champion. And he and maybe I think maybe Batista asked for a rematch, so maybe there could have been a rematch for them and No Mercy or like that. But just imagine him, he just uh, doing this every SmackDown. Muhammad Hassan opened up the SmackDown with a world championship with Devari on his back, and he's, I mean, look, I mean, just imagine the crowd booing the shit out of him, and he's just headlining everywhere on SmackDown. I mean, that could have been great, and his feud with the Undertaker and Batista would have been great, and then he would have wrestled with all the mid card guys on the SmackDown, the jobbers, lower level mid card guys. I mean, demolishing them. And then he was drafted back to SmackDown because he was going to wrestle with the legends again. So imagine he wrestling with a match with the Booker team. Oh my God! Feud with a Booker T, feud with the Rey Mysterio. He's squashing the Rey Mysterio. I mean, it could have been great. I mean, so many people: Booker T, Rey Mysterio, Batista, Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Christian. Those people challenging for his world champion, and he always winning the match, getting a more heat for him and more heat for his character. Oh my God, he could have been a legend. He's still a legend, but he could have been a legend that never be any like anyone before, or never ever gonna be. I mean, he's going all over the place, and JBL and all those heels would have been gone down. So yeah, I mean, just imagine the match with Chris Benoit on SmackDown. Imagine the match with the Booker T for the world champion. Imagine the match with the Rey Mysterio. Muhammad Hassan was a Rey Mysterio, but there could have been a huge Eddie Guerrero and Muhammad Hassan great storyline. I'm telling you what. I mean, even though Eddie Guerrero sadly passes away in November, but they still have time for use that. They could have used the camel clutch storyline. I mean, they could have used that everybody knows that the storyline between they got heat with Muhammad Hassan asking Eddie Guerrero not to use the camel clutch with when Kurt Angle told him. So they could have used that in their matches. Like, could have been built that storyline by like Eddie Guerrero using the camel clutch in the match, and then Muhammad Hassan using the camel clutch. They could have wrestling them together using this real life storyline, what really did happen to them at Tokyo, in and then they wrestling like that. I mean, they fighting that this is my move. He's saying that Muhammad Hassan gonna say this is my move, and Eddie Guerrero gonna say this, no, this is my dad's invented, and all that. It could have been great with, and then Eddie Guerrero challenging for the world champion. Oh my God. They could have done so many things with Muhammad Hassan. I mean, even if I don't know when he was gonna lose the title at Survivor Series, after Taboo Tuesday, Survivors, he could have been one of the five guy from the SmackDown versus Raw. He could have been great, and then Armageddon comes in, then New Year's Revolution. I don't know how long his run gonna be, but man, he could have defeated everyone on SmackDown just like he did on Raw. He could have dominated SmackDown all that year. And the next year in 2006, he could have headlined the WrestleMania with The Undertaker, or with the Batista, or with the Rey Mysterio, or like any other big superstar at that time before the world heavyweight championship, and could have won it. He could have been won it again. He could have been by the WrestleMania 22. He could have been a two times world champion. I mean, oh my God, I mean, one thing I forgot to mention, there was a United States championship on SmackDown. So even if he lose it, the world title at some point, he could have won the United States Championship and could have got a lot more heat because that title suits him a lot because he's a Arab American and he's a champion of US champion, and his matches he could have feuded with the Chris Benoit for the US championship. Oh my God, and they could have, and maybe Dewari becomes a cruiserweight championship, and they both coming out with the belts, cruiserweight, US champion, world champion, and they could have become the tag team champions, and they feuding with the Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. I mean, I'm not a writer, but there's so many things comes in my mind that WWE made so much. It was their big loss that they got rid of Muhammad Hassan. I mean, they could have done wonders, man. They could have had great storylines with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. They could have great feud with him against Batista, Booker T, The Undertaker, Christian, Chris Benoit, all those top guys at SmackDown. I mean, and then everybody knows that Great Khali next year. I mean, some people saying the character could have died down. He could have become a jobber at that time. No, next next year in April 2006, Great Khali debut with attacking the Undertaker. So he could have used Great Khali becomes the part of them, because even though Great Khali is an Indian, he's not even Arab, but he could have used them that even Indian people got discriminate against because they look like Arab, or they got mistaken, because it was a true storyline too, because I know some Indian people and some Sikh people from India, they got beaten or they got shot by Americans because they look like Muslims, but they could have used that storyline too. And look at the stable: Muhammad Hassan, Davari, and Great Khali, the three of them together, and they feuding again with the Undertaker and beating the shit off on the Undertaker at Judgment Day 2006. Oh my God! And Muhammad Hassan and Davari as a tag team champions, and Great Khali winning as a world champion. They could have dominated a SmackDown all those 2005, 2006, 2007. They could have feuded with all that, and then they could have maybe moved him back to Raw. I mean, and they could have feuded with the John Cena and Randy Orton and all those big guys at that time at Raw. I mean, no, what can I say, man? He had so much potential. He had so much. That character was never ending. That character, you put him with anyone, with any feud, with any legend, with any superstar, it could have been great. I mean, the character has so much depth. The character has so much storyline because he was just a great character that even if you put him with a jobber, if you put him in the legend, if you put him with the some champion, it would have been works so great because the character has a back real life storyline that they used him, so he could have been work with all of them. He could have worked as a great world champion, US champion, or tag team champion, or he just running around with his mouth all that year with on SmackDown. Oh my God! Don't even let me think about what could have been. I mean, I don't know. Maybe what was the longevity of the Muhammad Hassan character, but I don't know if still he would have been fit in this society, in this era, PG era. But I mean, had he stayed there for 2 3 years, he would have been remembered for forever. I mean, whenever the wrestling name gonna come, Muhammad Hassan. As I mean, some people still argue that Muhammad Hassan is not the greatest heel ever, but they were not going to argue with that because Muhammad Hassan would have become he is still the greatest heel ever because no one got the heat the one he got. I mean, everybody was after him. UPN, WWE fans, Muslim groups, media, and TV networks. Nobody had that much heat. Who has? All those are the Triple H, Vince McMahon are kayfabe heels. This guy was a heel. He was a king of the heels. He has that heat that he could take the whole building on fire, man. He was a mega hot heat, man, and he just fucking could have been a billion-dollar guy. And instead of being a face, John Cena was the face of WWE at that time. He would have been a face of heel or heel at greatest heel at that time in WWE. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen, sadly, and Muhammad Hassan character was cut way too short. They didn't utilize him that the way they should have used him. But what can I be do? Unfortunate timing, unfortunate angle, and damn on UPN, damn on WWE not standing up for their guy because they created the Muhammad Hassan character. Media was gonna come after them. UPN motherfuckers do gonna come out. They could have stand up for the guy that this guy, this is our best heel. We cannot at any cost not gonna take this character out of the WWE. They could have just saved him and could have made him the greatest heel and greatest world champion of the all time, man. But that's it. That's how it. That's how the cards fell, and here we are talking about this. But Muhammad Hassan, who knows what could have been if those London bombing controversy didn't happen. And one more thing, fuck you, UPN. Thank you.